Well, I think that moves us over to our favorite aesthetics
Uh-huh.
as we continue to chronicle each and every one of the Nike City Connect uniforms that come out. They're coming out on a weekly basis now, as they've announced they will be releasing a total of 9 uniforms before the All-Star break. We saw the Philadelphia Phillies, their very Philly uniforms released last week. This past Friday, the Mets released their NYC, basically
Mm.
a subway, an homage to their subway system uniforms. You've got a description over there. I'll describe them quickly. Starts with a black hat with a purple, I believe it's a purple NY, typical Mets logo, but it's in purple. The purple, and it perplexed me at first, but that's the 7 line. It's the train that goes to originally Shea Stadium, but now City Field. It's the 7 line, but it's known by its purple color on the New York subway map. So I mean, in Chicago, we just have the purple line, we have a red line, we don't have numbers. Of course, it's a tiny system compared to the New York City
Yeah.
subway system. So
Yeah.
they need colors and numbers to figure out where the fuck you're going there. But so I thought that was kind of strange just because I don't know any. I've never been to New York City, believe it or not. I've been around the world, but I have not been to New York City. So I know very little about their subway system. So the purple makes perfect sense once of course, if you live there, it's essentially the purple line. So that made sense. But the weird thing about the hat, at least, it's a black hat. It's got I forget which bridge it is, but New York's known for its bridges. It's got a bridge across the front underneath the logo, which I think looks really dumb. I think they'd be fine without having the bridge on the hat. I think it'd be a perfectly good hat, just a black hat with a purple Mets NY logo on it. So that's one of my gripes about it. The jersey is a dark gray color, kind of a messy background to it, which looks really cool. It's got interesting pinstripes, which I think you've got a description of coming up here in a bit. Black pinstripes on it, which I think look really, really good. But the coolest thing they do is the NYC across the chest in a classic baseball font, but it's also a font found in the subway station there, which is a really cool connection. NYC, I'm surprised we haven't seen this on either of the New York teams. You don't really see that anywhere, but it's just, I mean, that's the acronym for New York City. It's just perfect to see across a baseball jersey chest. I think they did a good job with that. There's a sleeve patch, a purple sleeve patch, which is a homage to the old New York City subway token system. I guess it's a replica design of a token in purple, which I think is really cool. They tied that in. It looks like a baseball patch that you'd see. It doesn't look completely weird or out of place other than it being purple. I think my favorite thing, though, about the uniforms is they chose to go away from the trend of all these City Connect uniforms using dark pants or black pants, which they could have easily done with this color scheme. They stuck with white pants with a big black stripe down the side. That's what a baseball uniform looks like to me. Dark pants makes no sense. It looks like a softball uniform, which is I'm hoping the Tigers don't do in here in a couple weeks when we get to their City Connect, but I fear they will, as the majority of the City Connects we've seen over the last couple of years have had dark pants. So those are my initial thoughts. Did I describe everything at least before we get into the New York Mets description of all these items?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. There's a couple details here that I'm going to be able to provide, which will just blow everyone's mind. And I'll start with
All right.
what you said I had the details to, and that's the pinstriping on the
Oh yeah.
uniform. It is made up of circles and diamonds that make up the New York City subway system. That's what forms the pinstripes on the jersey.
Yeah, I think those are symbols that are seen on on the subway map itself that they just sort of
Right.
repeated into a pattern, into a stripe pattern, which I think is, I mean, it's not necessary, but it's kind of cool.
And then you made note of the token sleeve patch as a nod to our past, taking its cue from the New York subway token. One fare to take you everywhere, and if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. That's exactly
Ah, yes.
written there, so that's a good time. You already
Thank you,
talked
Frank
about the
Sinatra.
purple being the nod to the 7 line.
That was my biggest gripe. I'm sure when you saw it, you're probably wondering what the fuck the purple is about. I mean, I think that's most everybody. I think anyone from New York would certainly get that immediately. What their homage is, and that's what these are for. These are not for middle-aged white dudes in the Midwest like you and I. These are for people in the city that they're from, trying to trying to connect with that city and not maybe an atypical baseball fan. So playing off the purple of the subway system, that 7 line there, I think would make perfect sense to any New York City resident.
Yeah, and then above the jersey tag is the world city in purple. Queens is known as the world's borough. In a city that feels like a
I had
world of
no
its
idea.
own, we own the name, the world city.
Okay.
They talk about what you talked about on the hat. It's the Queensboro Bridge that's represented there. That's the bridge.
Does that bother you at all, or are you cool with that, or
No, it
that
it
bugs
looks
me for some
annoying.
reason?
I think the hat's
Okay.
if they take the bridge off the hat's pretty dope because it's like the black on
Yeah,
black
that's what I thought. Just simplify it.
and almost the way the NYC is with the shapes. It almost looks like bridge work in a way. Like
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah, that's
and
interesting.
since the N and the Y are intersecting, you could have sold it that way. Do I have to start writing this shit for you, Nike? I can do it better than you can.
We've had a
Then
lot of practice as we've gone
yes.
over like 20 of these already. So in the last couple of years.
And then of course there's always something hidden within the jersey or within the hat or
Oh,
whatever.
yes.
So in the inside of the hat is nothing connects New York like a subway system hidden behind the concrete of the underbill, like the subway under our streets, with its colors twisted on a map. The iconic NYC train lines are now tucked in your mind. What the
Oh my
fuck,
God.
guys?
This is,
Why?
yeah, they were doing pretty well up until that point. There's no reason to put something on the inside of the hat than to have such a ridiculous description of it. That's actually why we're doing these aesthetic segments, because of these ridiculous descriptions they eventually get into. I felt like they were doing a good job for 60% of this. Now that we're getting deeper into it, they're digging way too deep to find symbolism and meaning inside of a goddamn hat.
Yeah, I like you, knowing that the purple matches up with the subway. I guess that's fine. I thought of the Colorado Rockies though, right when I saw
Yeah,
the color scheme, and that kind of bothered me.
that's a problem.
The other thing,
You don't want to be associated with the Colorado Rockies these
no,
days, for sure.
no, they're right there with the White Sox,
Yeah.
but the thing that didn't make sense, and I know you're a fan of the white pants, but teams wear gray pants too. I don't understand why you just didn't finish the uniform off in the pants.
That's interesting, because that'd be similar to what your White Sox did with their
Yeah,
South Side uniforms,
uh,
where it's kind of a pattern. There's like a grunge pattern,
yeah,
black, dark gray, and they continued that to the pants. And I could see them doing that with these jerseys too,
yeah.
these
I think it would
uniforms
have looked
too.
sharp. I mean,
I think it could have been cool. It certainly would have been unique. I guess I'm just always going to lean towards white pants for baseball for whatever reason, or at least lighter colored pants than the jersey. I think it looks better, but it wouldn't have been the end of the world for me, at least, if they'd continued that gray color into the pants. But if they had done the black pants, that we saw with the Mariners. The Mariners did such a cool job on their uniforms until they got to the pants. The old Trident logo and everything in their royal blue and gold colors, and then they've got fucking
right.
black pants out of nowhere. That's the one that really set me off. So now it's kind of a triggering moment now when I see these City Connect uniforms, if they do black pants. So it's just, that's why I had to bring it up. Just that they didn't do that, I felt like was kind of remarkable at this point.
What are you giving them?
Oh, is that the end of the
Oh
descriptions?
yeah, that was it. The last
That was a lot.
description. The last description was just the awesome subway in the hat. Great.
Yeah, they ended with a bang right there. I gotta say, there's I'm nitpicking here and there, but I gotta give them two middle fingers up. I'm happy with these. I'm not a Mets fan. You and I have made fun of the Mets for years. The New York mess, as we like to call them. They did not make a mess out of these uniforms. I think they're great. I think they'll appeal to the citizens, maybe non-traditional baseball fans of New York City. I think that was the whole point. They did something unique, different. I think it works. I'm going to give them two middle fingers up.
I remain a hard sell right now this year on the City
All right.
Connect jerseys. So I'm going one middle finger up, one middle finger down.
Okay.
Though I just don't like the white pants with them. I think it ruins
Oh
it.
wow. So we're opposite ends of the spectrum on that.
Yeah, I mean, most like when teams go on the road, they have gray road pants. I don't understand. I get the black pant thing, like because it looks like again, like you said, a softball
Slacks,
uniform
or
or
like they're wearing slacks on a baseball field.
70s Pirates uniform maybe or something,
Yeah,
but yeah, that because a lot of times when they've done the black on the pants, like these solid black pants, it just doesn't even make sense. There's like no reason to do it. This, I think
right.
they could have completed a story, and they probably couldn't
Oh,
they probably couldn't source the pants with all the fucking problems they had. They probably were supposed to be gray pants, but Nike probably fucked it up somehow.
that's a good point. Yeah, Fanatics probably didn't have enough black pants or gray pants to give them, so they just had to go with whatever was left on the rack, the Fanatics rack there. So it's a good.
Jesus.
That's as good a theory as any. I think you have sound reasoning. I'm not going to argue with you there. I think that's solid. This is far more time than I thought we'd spend talking about the Mets this year, but that's probably the most positive thing we could say about them going forward.
Yeah.
Well, so it probably won't be next episode, as I don't think we will see the new Motor City Detroit City Connect uniforms released until May 6th. So it might be 2 episodes from now, but of course I am breathlessly awaiting that. Hopefully they don't have some fucking dark pants there, or maybe you'll love them. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll work out just fine.
I mean,
You can pick up a pair of dark Motor City Connect pants when you come to Detroit this summer.
yeah, no, I'd come dressed all in the full South Side ensemble, head
Okay,
to
you
toe.
could do that. I won't stop you.
Cleats too. I'm going to wear cleats in the park.
If the Tigers aren't next week, yeah. If the Tigers aren't next week, there might be another City Connect release,
Oh,
as they are coming fast and furious
fingers
throughout
crossed.
this. Yeah, so we might have a different aesthetic segment to do next week. So we will see.
Word Hole Media.